What the fuck is up, y'all? This is KreyzMcKormik up in this motherfucking bitch, and shit is happening. Making lots of noise and whatnot. So, damn, I already fucked up, because that doesn't exist as of yet. Took a look into, some, just random shit and stuff, and I see that Spooky Tuesday and Hell Spit already up in this motherfucking bitch. And, you know what, I should probably turn on the TV just for the sake of creating some lighting. Obviously you can see there's some lighting problems because the background is fucking red.
It's not always the same.
Nope. No, want to turn it down. Nobody gives a shit about what's on TV. Just to try to create some, just to try to offset this red background, we're going to try to deal with a different screen of sorts, just to see. Okay, there we go. Now we've got better lighting ish, and it's due to the fact that my fucking shit is L from from Death Note. That's my wallpaper for my fucking shit. Oh hell yeah, dude. See, like, last year, everybody was fucking sleeping on ICP because, oh, they don't have a whole lot of shit going on and all that other stuff. Well, look at what they've got planned out. See, like a lot of the shit that they had going on when it concerned last year, they were putting a lot of effort and all of that shit on fucking Ouija Mac. They were putting shit down for fucking, all of the shit that was going on, like the fucking march and stuff like that. Like, there was a lot of people that we know that live here on YouTube, some retards that have a dinosaur logo, who shall remain nameless, fucking have some sort of ordeal when it concerns psychopathic, or a vendetta, if you will, because, like, everybody's so fucking disappointed in psychopathic, and everybody thought that they were just going to be throwing L's left and right, like their name was the Big Bad Wolf or some such shit. But nevertheless, though, like, a lot of this shit, yeah, the seminar fucking was wig splitting, and it was fucking awesome seeing how they have a plan with everything going on. So kudos to them. Shanzi, what's up in this motherfucking bitch? So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and go into the fucking credentials. The shilling, if you will. Streamlabs is available if you want to show your support to this channel by donating. Go ahead and go into the link below. It's not a forcible thing. It's of your own opportunity. As you can see, I have a King of the Streamlabs waiting to be filled. And as soon as I start talking about that, one person drops. Fucking e-begging. No, it's not. Like, you want to support the channel, that's on you. I'm not going to be begging for money. But there's that. There's the t-shirts, sales, and all of that stuff. I haven't done anything with what used to be known as NES Man. We all, as a collective, have decided that we are going to rename it Retro Man and bring it back. I just haven't done anything with that because I have not had enough time to do that since we last talked. And then on top of that, everything else is in the description below. I ended up adding a couple of things to the fucking description. If you look into the description, you can actually see some changes have been made. One of the changes that has been made is I added the link to the Juggernaut Facebook group that we had recently obtained, and then at the like towards the middle area where I have a bunch of things for like the links and whatnot for the PS4 and the Xbox One. just, for the, just to fill out that friends list. I also added my Pokemon Go friend code. Just recently started getting back into Pokemon Go. I usually, like, whenever I'm driving for Grubhub and I'm on my way over to a restaurant or something of that nature, I tend to fucking put that on because I live downtown, and a lot of the roads downtown tend to make it so you don't go over 25, like, I think the speed limits are usually either 25 or 30 miles an hour, and that's enough to make it so the little icon on the GPS walks a little bit and then runs a little bit and then walks a little bit. So it's getting my character up there so that way I can start earning rare candies for my Magikarp. I need like you need 400 fucking candies in order to evolve Magikarp into a Gyarados. It's a fucking waste of time doing it like that, but you know what? It is what it is. And let's see. Yeah, Big Baby Records. That's that's another thing that's going to be coming up in here. So Shanzi, did you go to the gathering this year? I wasn't sure if you did or not. And I can't. Oh yeah, that's right. I put my phone on my cigarettes. I don't remember, Shanzi, if you went to the fucking gathering or not. I know that you went to DCG Con, and we got to fucking hang out and talk and chill and shit like that. And I see Big Ninja's up in this motherfucker. Let's see, The Blunt Atheist. What up, Ninja? Right. I think that, like, Violent J Spooky, Violent J ended up saying that what he wants to do is he wants to do collaborations of, like, what he thinks are, like, the best songs for specific things. Like, he ended up saying it's for, like, here's what I personally think are the best funny songs or the best scary songs, which we all know that the one song that he has done that scares him the most is Prom Queen. So I can guarantee you that Prom Queen would definitely be in that version. But, the way that I look at it, I don't know. It could go either way when it concerns that. I mean, it's a creative idea, and, Violent J and Shaggy love to get the creative juices flowing. But, like the way that I look at it, it's like, it's going to be hit or miss. I think he had better fucking business running Hatchet House than what I think is going to go on. I mean, this is just my personal idea, my personal opinion on Big Baby Records. And since it's his label, he has the power of control, so he can change it up to whatever it is that he wants to do. There might be something else that he might be able to put on that other than just collaborative things or compilation albums. I mean, like, the possibilities are there. It just really depends on how he's going to put it out. And that's about as far as I'm going to go when it concerns that stuff. Let's see. I don't know, because you still have to put money down on creating a fucking record label. Even if it's a side label or something like that, you still need to have money in order to fucking get that going on. I mean, like the old shit LP, where that was a collaboration, that ended up fucking, going through, and I guess it did pretty well. Let's see, compilation albums. Thank you. Like, I kept on saying collaboration, but compilation albums, ever still going to be a thing in a year with streaming being so big? Right? Yeah, because I mean, let's face it, a compilation album, all it really is just nothing more than a fucking it's just a compilation of songs that are already out. It's a fucking playlist, basically. But the only way that those songs are actually going to work is if there's like 2 or 3, maybe 4 tracks of original or unreleased shit. That's the only way that those things would actually be able to sell. So you would have to spend, $11.99 on a hard copy or $9.99 on a full album in order for you to get that. in order for you to get those 4 tracks, or you just spend $1.29 for every separate, for every single, or something to that effect. I think that's how it goes. But I think that that's what would go on, is like he would have to have like 3 or 4 original tracks in order to actually make things work. So, okay, with some of that out of the way, yeah, and the Shaggy 2 Dope art. So with this out of the way, I wanted to actually get into some of the topics that I ended up throwing up onto the title here. So the first and foremost one ends up being talking about the update of my vehicle situation. So as I was talking about for the last couple of live streams, like I've been having a lot of financial trouble, and been trying to fucking dig my way out of a hole. I mean, and anybody knows that if you dig yourself into a hole, it's very hard for you to fucking get out of it. Which, being the type of person that I am, I usually tend to find a way when I've hit the bottom of the barrel, or at least I'm underneath the barrel and trying to hold it with my head. It's getting to a point where, financially speaking, it looks like that it's in a lot of fucking turmoil and peril, if you will. I actually said to my mother earlier today, I called it financial peril. And it's due to the fact that, both of the cars are behind on bills, and my girlfriend's worried about whether or not shit is going to be fucking just kaput, or we're going to get our fucking cars repossessed, or whatever the fuck. So yesterday I was live streaming while I was in queue for the fucking DMV, or in Michigan we call it the Secretary of State. So after the live stream yesterday, I ended up heading over to the DMV, Secretary of State, SOS, and I was running low on gas. So I ended up noticing that according to the Secretary of State's website, whatever the amount of money it's going to cost in order to fucking get this shit done, also adds taxes, and then if you use a debit card, it's also going to tag on a 1.5% processing fee to whatever it is that you fucking add. So that would have been an extra couple of dollars in order to fucking get the tabs and the registration. And what ends up happening is I take a look at how much money I have, and I don't have enough money. So as much as I didn't want to, yesterday I ended up getting a couple of people who had donated Streamlabs, and I tried to transfer the money from PayPal to my debit card, and it ended up telling me that all of my money was on hold. And it was due to the fact, it turns out they ended up telling me today, it was due to the fact that they fucking, they put my shit on hold for 24 hours because I was using a new debit card. Prior to all of this, I ended up finding out that there were 2 Amazon Prime accounts going through my bank account. One of them was going for $9.99 and the other one was going for $13.49. And so we ended up having to get a hold of Chase Bank and do a reversal on that. And that actually not only gave me back the money for the 2 months of $13.49, I ended up missing the first month, but we also ended up getting the $9.99 back, and any fucking money that ended up causing any money that we ended up having to pay for NSF fees because of those transactions, we ended up getting that money back as well. Now, because of us having to do this, we ended up having to shut down our debit cards, and we just got some new ones in the mail. So I immediately connected it and linked it with my PayPal account so that way it could go into my bank account. But because of it being a new bank card, they had to put it on hold for 24 hours to make sure that it was legit. And I was like, well, I need this, so I called up the support line for PayPal and explained to them the situation, what I was planning on doing with the money, and they were like, this is your account, this is your bank account, this is your PayPal account. And I gave them all the information, but they ended up telling me that there was nothing that they could do. Thank you, Hellspit. I'm actually getting to this part right now. So just continue to listen, and I'll tell you what's up. So what ends up happening is instead of being able to get my tabs and registration for my car, for my because I drive a Kreyz and my girlfriend drives a Traverse, but my Kreyz has been out of commission for a minute because of two major things going on right now. One is I have not been able to get tabs on it. And when it concerns me doing my job with Uber and Lyft, I've been making as much money as I've been spending, and it just really hasn't been working out. Like, I've been barely being able to make bills and stuff like that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be talking about this Friday on a podcast called GR Rideshare Adventures. So write that down and make a list of it, because they have a YouTube channel, they have a Facebook group. I don't know if it's open or not, but they post their shit, and I'll actually, once it's done, I'm gonna actually post it up on Juggernaut, and so people will be able to listen to me fucking talk about this shit, because I'm gonna be talking about further things rather than what I'm talking about right now. So, what up, Custom Juggalo? So, anywho, so instead of being able to get my tabs, I figured, okay, I'm gonna go back to the gas station, put $30 in the car that I have right now, the Traverse. Then I went and got cigarettes, and what else did I fucking get? Oh yeah, so I went to AutoZone, and I ended up getting my replacement for the coolant recovery tank. It's where, it's the big fucking plastic bucket that there's a line that feeds into it that puts it in, so that way it can continually fucking go around. So it's mainly there really just so that way you can fucking get the right amount of coolant, and so that way it fucking loops. So so I ended up buying that thing, and it was like $25 at AutoZone. The funny thing is, I ended up looking at it later and found out that like dealerships that have parts for sale, they sell that motherfucker for like $50, and I bought it at AutoZone for $25. And it also helps the fact that since I have an Uber account, I'm able to get 10% off. Really, they don't even ask me to check my account. I just tell them, hey, I'm an Uber driver, and they give me 10%. If you ever have to go to AutoZone, try that. Like, even if you're not an Uber driver, just see if they'll actually do that or whatever. I don't know. Grand Rapids tends to be rather trustworthy type of people in most cases, so that ends up being a positive. And then after I got the piece, I ended up contacting a buddy of mine. He runs he works for like whenever you have to call tow service or something like that, if it's right, yeah, Super Bears. I used to work for a place that did plastic mold injection, and like the part that I would make cost like $6 to make, and they were selling them for like $23 a part, and it was supposed to be the plastic piece. It's supposed to be like a connector piece that goes into the transmission that lets the transmission know when to shift gears. And I made that thing, and it cost like $6 to make, and we were selling it for like fucking $25 a pop at 500 units per pallet. Fucked up shit. But yeah, the markup is fucking absurd. But nevertheless, like I was saying, so I ended up buying this motherfucker, and then I called a buddy of mine who works at one of those, one of those places that, like if you lock your keys in your car or something like that, then they'll come and jimmy it out. They'll jimmy open the door so that, like shit like that. And he works for one of those companies around here, but he likes to tinker with engines and cars and shit like that in his spare time. And he said that if there's any time that I need help with with shit, he'll fucking meet up and he'll do it for free, which is good because it's easy work. So this isn't the first time that he ever fucking worked on my engine. Most of the stuff that he's really worked on is my radiator system, my coolant system, and then he's also replaced the side mirror for the passenger side of my car. And this time I needed him to replace the reservoir tank. So we ended up, we met up today around 11-ish, and he ended up replacing it. We start running it, and we ended up noticing that while there was no leak in the reservoir tank, there was actually a leak in the inlet cooling hose. It's basically the hose that brings the fucking coolant back into the reservoir, and there was a leak at the pin end of the fucking thing. So it was weird too because like I pushed up against it with my thumb, and the fucker snapped right off. What up, Dark Knight Kid? Haven't seen you in a minute. So, like I ended up fucking doing that shit, and then like I said, the part fucking like the hose piece at the tail end of it fucking snapped right off. And I didn't even apply a lot of pressure. I just used my thumb and pushed up against it, and it snapped right off. Apparently, what the problem was is that it ended up corroding in the inside. So all of the insides of that motherfucker were just fucked. So, like, okay, so what do we do? Well, simplest thing, what we ended up doing is we went online and we tried to see if we could find a place that sold that particular hose. But neither one of us knew what the name of the motherfucking hose was. So, fuck it. What up, Riders 187? I'm actually talking about that. I'm getting through the meat and berries of all of this story. So, what ends up happening is I try to look for the part for I try to look for the hose on AutoZone. We tried Napa Auto Parts. We tried O'Reilly. We even tried this one website that we usually go to for parts called RockAuto.com. And so we ended up going there, and we couldn't find the motherfucking piece, even for that. So we decided, fuck it. If this is the case, if that's what it is, then basically what that means is that these parts only are sold. These parts are only sold at the dealership. Which there's one dealership one GM dealership, not even too far away from my mom's house where the car was at and where we were working on it. And we ended up fucking going and taking a look at like I ended up going there, like he had to go back to work, not before actually taking the key to my girlfriend's car and fucking made a copy of it. So now I have a copy of the car keys for my girlfriend's car. I got the NES Mini after 3 years, LOL. Yeah, dude, like, they fucking, like, I think they brought it back just based off of demand. And I see that Warlockside is up in the motherfucking chat, so whoop whoop to you. And everybody throw a hashtag hell yeah for Warlockside. So, back to what I'm saying. So, I fucking go to the dealership to buy the piece. I brought the piece with me to make sure that everybody... so everybody knew what the fuck I was trying to buy. And I sat it down on the table after they asked me what I needed. And so they end up fucking looking right at it, and they're like, oh yeah, we got like a dozen. We got dozens of these in the back. So they price it, and it's like $20-something and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, shit, I only got $17. But I still have the Streamlabs from last night in my PayPal. So I got back in touch with PayPal, and while I'm on hold, I go to the gas station, I grab me this Mountain Dew, I grab me a Venom, and I also grabbed 2 donuts and a cookie because I was hungry. And so I ended up going up on there and asked them if, when they finally fucking picked it up, I fucking ended up asking them, I told them that yesterday I tried to fucking withdraw money and they said that I had a 24-hour wait, and they also informed me that if I tried to pull it out before that 24-hour mark, it would relapse, like start all over again. So the guy was like, well, did you try to do it today? I said, no, because if I do, I'm afraid that if I do, then it's going to start over and then I don't have any fucking money. So he's like, well, try it now. And so I try it and the money ends up going through. So thanks to you guys who streamed Lab for yesterday, I was able to actually get the hose that I need in order to get my car taken care of, you know? Spooky Tuesday, are you talking about Vinnie Paul? Or Vinny the ICP kid? Which Vinny are you talking about? Don't leave us in the dark here, son. So I pull the PayPal money out of the fucking shit. And then, you know, I pull the Streamlab money from last night out of PayPal. I put it into my bank account. I drive back to the fucking store, get the hose, drive back to my mom's house, and installed it. Ran it through, and I ended up fucking letting the engine run for a little bit, and no leaks. My car does not have any leaks in the coolant system. See, the problem really was two sides. In the old reservoir tank, where there's a seam from where they have it set so that way, because this is how plastics works. You drop the piece and then you have the mold injection come in, and then you have to, and then when the thing opens up, you can see where everything was connected, and then it leaves like a little seam usually, and so where the seam was, there was like the seam would be going up and down. There's a crack going along the side. So when there's a high level of pressure due to everything that's going on with the coolant system, in that crack, fucking coolant would be spitting out and hitting the engine, and then you'd be able to smell that sweet smell that shit gives off because it's burning because of how hot the engine is. And then eventually the coolant system runs almost bone dry and overheats the car. And that's the problem that I was having. On the other, that was like the main problem that I was having. On the other side, on the passenger side of the car where the engine is, there was a spot that was kind of leaking. So what I did was I ended up buying the stuff at AutoZone back in February. And it's like kind of got metallic stuff in it, and it's supposed to like latch onto whatever's causing the leak, and then close it up. And that stuff actually worked. Right? Exactly. You need to like this shit. Like it, share it, subscribe to it, and become part of the notification squad when you're hitting that fucking bell. God damn it. Because you never know when I'm going to fucking show up here. I could show up here in 3 months. I could show up here next week. I could show up at 2 o'clock in the fucking morning later on today. You never know. So if you watch this shit and you enjoy it, you got to make sure you hit that notification bell. I'm not doing it like I was trying to early on in this live stream where I was going to be here every Saturday at 9 p.m. No, I'm doing it whenever the fuck I want. But I'm still going to try to be respectful to make sure that I don't overlap Child's Play Ninja's show. Because I know he has the higher show. At least until my show is more popular, which will never fucking happen, but you never know. Yep, that's exactly what I used, man. I used Stop Leak. I think that was the name of it. I don't know if it was like a Lucas brand or anything like that. I don't remember the brand of it. But Stop Leak actually helped out. So, you know, Stop Leak helped on the passenger side, and I replaced the reservoir tank on the driver's side, and then I had to replace that hose. So now, because of this, all that I have left to make it so that way I can drive my car, this means that this is a 100% guarantee that by Thursday night, I will be able to drive my own car, and Katie will be able to drive her own car, and I won't have to worry about conflicting schedules with her job in order to do mine, which means more money for me in the end. And to be totally honest, I know that people who have been throwing Streamlabs my way have been throwing it in support of the channel, but the reality is that I've had to use that stuff in order to get my ass back on the road, so that way I can do my job when I need to. You know what I'm saying? And I do thank you for everything, everybody that has done for me, whether it be on this channel or outside of this channel. And it's not just limited to fucking juggalos, but also people like my mother who have actually been helping me out, and my brother's planning on helping me out and shit type of like that. Thank you, Dark Knight Kid. So you'll be notified, even if it's like 3 in the morning, you got to get up for school. You're gonna fucking wake up and be like, oh shit, KreyzMcKormik's on. I'm gonna do that sometime, like while you're in fucking school. I'm gonna fucking make it so you get notified. Shit is dangerous. Works for a minute, but could cause future problems. I've had my radiator blow up in my face because of it. Yeah, I mean, it really depends on where the leak is, I think. But like the stuff that I used, it really does. It's like very small shaves, and it will spread out to mix with the rest of the shit. I mean, you know, like, I don't know how long it's been since you used that Warlock side, but nevertheless, it's definitely, you know, like, hey, it works for me right now, and the way that I look at it, it's going to, you know, it's working for me right now. And the car runs constantly, so it's not like anything's going to get bunched up. But the fucked up thing is that thing's actually been sitting since February, and it still runs. It still runs just fine and dandy. Oh, you're awake until about 3? All right, then 5 in the morning, because fuck you. I'm going to do that to fuck with you. Nevertheless, so, as of right now, all that I have left to work on is just to get my fucking tabs on my car, to get the tab and the registration renewed. That's all that I have left, and then after that I get to drive my own car. The tab and registration renewal, I think, is probably going to be about $120 or something to that effect. I didn't use it. I used to work at an oil change place. Hell yeah. What up? What up, virus? So, yeah, that's, you know, so that's it. As of right now, I have $120 left to spend on my car, and then, boom, I get to work as much as I fucking want. And I ended up telling my girl that the way that it's working is that, you know, I was, like, and I'll be honest with you and open, you know, I kind of am, sort of, but not really. You don't know what a tab is? The tab is the fucking sticker that you put on your license plate. I don't know if they call it something else, but here in Michigan we call it a tab. Like getting tabs for your car, that's a tab. See, Warlockside knows what I'm talking about. Nevertheless, though, like I was saying, I've kind of, sort of, but not really been relying on the live stream donations via Streamlabs in order to get to where it is that I need to go. But I ended up telling Katie, my girl, oh, CPN all day. CPN is the fucking Sith Lord, motherfucker. Like, yeah, you probably weren't around when me and CPN did a fake beef. But nevertheless, you know, I keep getting sidetracked because of the fucking chat board. But what I'm saying is like, you know, I've been using the money that I've been getting via Streamlabs in order to fucking get the car parts that I needed in order to make the car move. And I ended up telling my girl that, yeah, keep thinking about psychedelics. Okay, so I guess like, I don't know, I've been calling it tabs my whole life. Registration tag, whatever the fuck. But like I was saying, I've been relying sort of on the live stream donations and stuff just to get where my car needs to be. And I told Katie that I was going to do a couple live streams to see if there was any money, because I want to be open with y'all. I want to be honest with y'all. Yeah, you know, I think y'all give me donations for this shit. You deserve to know where the fucking money's going right now. So what I'm saying is that, you know, I've been using that, and I plan on reimbursing the shit, whatever Streamlabs that have been giving me, so that way I can put investment into the channel. But right now, this is an emergency type situation. So, Big Bird's gangsta as fuck. So what I've been doing is, I told Katie that I was going to do a couple of other live streams, and if I tend to get any Streamlab donations, then that was going to help go towards the fucking shit that I need in order to get the registration tag. So, and if not, whatever, if I get the amount of money that I need, then great. If I don't, well, I'm getting paid on Thursday because of all of the work that I did last week on Grubhub. And I'm getting paid $625, so I'll be able to get the tags. And then on top of that, I'll be able to put some money to the side for gas. And then to finalize it, I'll be able to take whatever money else that I have left, and I'll be able to put it into, I'll be able to put that shit into one of the car payments. I told Katie that whatever money that she doesn't have, chances are will be able to cover a good portion of the amount of money that we need in order to get her car up and going, which is about $600, and then mine, which is about $1,500. So, and then like once I start doing my job and I'm able to do this shit full time again, and I mean full time throughout the entire summer, or the remainder of the summer, I should say, my intention is to try to get work going from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. 7 days a week with that car. I know exactly how much money I have to set aside to do work 7 days a week. I would say Chuck would win between Chuck and Sid Jones. Right? Hashtag, it's tabs, not tags. Calling that shit tabs now, too. Coined by the notorious Kreyz. That don't make no sense. But, yeah, I guess I'm notorious, but nevertheless. So, that's the situation that's going on with my car right now. I got the reservoir replaced. I got that hose replaced. And now I just need to get the registration renewed so I can get new tags. And I'll be able to fucking get my car on the road. And once again, it's thanks to those that have been doing the Streamlab donations and shit. That's actually been rather helpful. And like I said, whatever money that people have been giving me for this, I plan on putting back into my PayPal as if it never fucking happened, just to cover it up. And then that money's going to end up going into, improvements on the channel. But right now, I got to focus 100% on improvements for my car as of this point. So if you feel bamboozled about it, I apologize. And I also need to get my phone back up and going too, but I'm going to try to do that shit on my own. Nevertheless, so with that in mind, that's out of the way. So now you know, and knowing is pretty much half the battle. The next thing that I wanted to do was talk about some shit that's been going on in the world of professional wrestling. And, oh shit. Damn, dog. Oh, fuck. Already, now. Okay, so we've got 2 Streamlabs that just popped up. One of them is from Super Bears 81. Shoutouts to Super Bears for donating $10, saying, help Crazy drive again. And then we have a $5 donation from Spooky Tuesday saying, creeping it gross up in this bitch. Thank you guys for that. I appreciate that. But nevertheless, because of that shit, I mean, Spooky Tuesday, Spooky Tuesday, unfortunately, you are not able to be king of the Streamlabs as of right now. For Super Bears, has that going on right now. Super Bears currently is king of the Streamlabs. So let's see. Why isn't this fucking popping up? It takes forever for this fucker to pop up. I shit you not. I'm sure it'll pop up at some point. There we are. And there it is. Super Bears 81, $10. he is king of the Streamlabs with that $10. So, okay, this is what we're going to talk about when it concerns the wrestling shit. I ended up watching Raw last night, which it's been a very, very long time since I actually watched Raw live. Normally, like right about now, I would be watching Raw, or I'd probably watch Raw around Wednesday or something like that. Would I rather go to Gathering of the Juggalos or Comic-Con? Or are you talking about DCG Con? Like, do you mean DCG Con? Because personally, like, between the two, I love going to the DCG Con and I love going to the Gathering of the Juggalos, but I feel that at DCG Con, I have actually been more noticed at DCG Con just because of the fucking nerdy fucking video game shit that I've been doing as of late. So, like, as of right now, it's pretty much DCG Con is priority number one, especially since I have the live stream going on, and on top of that, now I also had done the retro game tournament, or at least tried to, I should say. Next year, I'm going to do it, and it's going to be a lot better. But Gathering of the Juggalos, like, honestly, next year's the 20th anniversary. Why wouldn't I want to go to that? You know what I'm saying? I had I was actually talking to I was talking to Don Chaos earlier today, and he's like, we should do something next year for the 20th anniversary for the YJC. I mean, you know, like, we still have, you know, like, the YJC, a good portion of us is into is in Juggernaut. So, like, it's basically like a YJC Juggernaut marriage. And we at YJC are basically doing, like, Juggernaut's basically doing what I originally thought of with YJC. It's just on a more broad spectrum. DCG so devastated it got shut down. I almost went. It didn't get completely shut down, though. You know? Jug Goodman still shut down the con. That motherfucker had Four Loko stapled to his fucking hand. But Jug Goodman's a good man. Nevertheless, as drunk as he was still very cordial and respectful. And DCG didn't necessarily get shut down. Like, it just got relocated to the fucking lobby, and we took over the fucking hotel. That's the way it was for me. But yeah, like, come on, Goat Boy. Like, you haven't been to DCG Con yet. So you can't, you know, so that's kind of a biased point of view. But, you know, I've gone to DCG, I've gone to the gatherings. I'll tell you this, though, when it concerns the con, not once did I at the con ever hear anything about poop dollars. Not at all. I got to see Butthole this year, but I didn't see any poop dollars. I saw poop dollars at the fucking march, for Christ's sakes. Yeah, that was magical there. But nevertheless, I'm getting sidetracked. Y'all motherfuckers sidetracking me and shit. I'll get back to your questions later. And we'll talk some more. We'll talk about random stuff while I eat a cookie. So, I was watching Raw last night, and right at the very beginning of Raw, Vince McMahon was in the ring. The entire roster was at the stage, and Vince McMahon introduces Stephanie McMahon and Triple H. And they came out and they made the announcement that later in the year, they are going to have an all-women's pay-per-view. And that's actually one of the things that I really wanted to fucking talk about, because this is something that I've been anticipating, honestly, ever since during the Attitude Era. They ended up having a main event match involving Lita and Trish Stratus. I mean, and anybody who follows wrestling for as long as I have, y'all know that they had a storied rivalry. It was a friendly rivalry between the two of them, and it was fucking awesome to see these women go and do the do when it concerns that type of shit. And I was blown back by the things that they fucking ended up doing. Actually, that match was when Lita fucked her neck up that later in life ended up fucking causing her to go under semi-retirement. Of course, she ended up coming back for a few things for women's revolution and things of that nature, which was the shit. And, you know, ended up seeing her in the first ever women's Royal Rumble, which was breathtaking. A lot of the stuff that's going, you know, that has been going on in the last couple of years, you know, women main eventing pay-per-views, Charlotte Flair and Sasha Banks main eventing Hell in the Cell in a Hell in the Cell match. And yes, I know who Madman Pondo is. Do you know who Sarah Logan is? That's Crazy Mary Dobson. Just so you know. Right. Yeah. You know, and that may be fucking, you know, that may be true. Like, I didn't know that Madman Pondo did that, but this is more on a more mainstream level. You know, that women are going to be doing their own personal pay-per-view, just like how the cruiserweights do their own personal pay-per-view, and they have their own fucking show. I'm not necessarily saying that they ought to make a show for just the women, but one thing that I was thinking is that if they're going to be doing an all-women's pay-per-view, it can't be just rivalry, and then 2 women's title matches. Personally, and I've been saying this ever since they announced the women's revolution in the WWE, there needs to be more women on the main roster. I mean, for Christ's sakes, they got women that are at the Performance Center right now waiting for somebody else from NXT to be called up to one of the main 2 rosters so that way they can go to NXT. And then they can produce their craft to be parts of the storyline in NXT. And then they later on will be able to go into the main roster themselves. But we need more women on the main rosters, SmackDown and Raw. And then when there's about as many women in the roster, or maybe just enough, I would probably say once they have maybe about 15 women in the roster, or 20 women on the main roster for each roster, they should initiate tag titles. We need a women's tag division, I think. I personally think that there needs to be a women's tag division, and I do think that there needs to be a secondary or a tertiary belt, or whatever the fuck it's called. You know, similar to like the European title from the Attitude Era, or the television championship from WCW. And I've been thinking that's another thing that we need because of people like fucking Brock Lesnar, who've been holding the Universal title and haven't defended it for 3 fucking months. You know, I think that, yeah, the Mae Young Classic finals are, I believe is what they said. The Mae Young Classic finalists are going to be competing against each other for, you know, for the spot in the Mae Young, you know, for who wins the Mae Young Classic at this pay-per-view in WWE Evolution. But I think that there needs to be more shit on there. I think that they need to have a tag division in the women, you know, in the women's division, and I think that they need to have a secondary title so that way the Raw and the SmackDown women's titles can be a little bit more worth going after. Because what in the fuck is the point in having one title for the women and then every woman on the roster could has the ability to get that title? It just makes it so the title means nothing if it keeps on getting switched over from one diva to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, and then every woman on the roster has the same fucking title at least one time. The only thing that it does is it increases the prestige of the wrestler and not the title itself. Like, they have more men than they do women. And that's why I think that they need to have more women on the roster, especially since they've been going around and saying, yeah, women in this business can do the exact same thing that men can do, which they've proven that they can do. They've been doing hardcore matches, Hell in the Cell matches, and, they've done Royal Rumbles. They've done the fucking, the Elimination Chamber. You know, like some of the women ended up being a part of the Elimination Chamber. and things and things like that. And it's a breath of fresh air to see that they're doing these elongated matches to a point where there's like one or two fucking fucking commercial breaks within a women's match, as opposed to it being like a 30-second to a minute and 30 fucking 5-woman tag match, or a 10-woman tag match, and it only lasts for like 2.5 minutes, or you get something stupid like a fucking baby oil match, or a fucking pillow fight match, or a lingerie match, or actually, I mean, I do honestly miss seeing evening gown matches. Like, that shit was fun to watch. Just to see women in evening gowns beating the shit out of each other, and the whole point of the match was to strip a woman down into her bra and panties. Like, that was fun as hell to watch, but in certain cases it was rather demeaning of the women. You know what I'm saying? All right, Dark Knight, you have a good one, brother. But I think that there needs to be more titles and more women if this is what they want to do in order to try. I mean, it's either that or, I mean, it's cool to see that there are women that are there, but and I think that I had to put sugar in tea and then wound up dumping half the damn container of sugar. Diabetes. Hashtag diabetes. Diabetes. Diabetes intensifies over tea. But yeah, I mean, like, show me some dragon emojis if you feel the same way that I feel when it concerns the women's match. We need more women's wrestlers on both of the rosters, and we need to have more titles, like a tag division. We need to have a tag division, and I think honestly they do have the capability of creating a fucking tag division for the women, because of how they have built storyline around Bayley and Sasha Banks. Except for that match that they had last night. Last night they ended up having a match, and it was like a squash match between two local jobbers versus them in order to try to get things back together. I was like, what the fuck is going on with that? Like, one of them was really skinny and didn't look like she had cardio going, and the other one was doughy as fuck. And then you've got two women who are weekly on the main roster beating the fuck out of these two in order to try to regain their fucking shit. You know what I'm saying? Hell yeah. I'll say that all I want. Like I said, like I've been saying, Goat Boy, I'm surprised that I have yet to get diabetes. But yeah, I'll drink this tall boy all day. But you know what else? It's also Baja Blast. I got a Baja Blast and a tall boy. And it's a total amount of 116 fucking milligrams of caffeine. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that type of shit. And I think that that's what needs to get done. I think that would be the shit. Just to have more women and more titles, and have them fucking gunning for these titles just as much as the men. And lately they've been doing a lot of extensions on these pay-per-views and shit. And so, I think now, regular pay-per-views are like 4 hours long, and the big pay-per-views are now becoming like 5 hours long. So, like, later on in the future, they'll end up having Night of Champions. And then, rather than having grudge matches going on that don't even involve fucking titles at Night of Champions would then legitimately have 4 hours of clock time where every single title would be defended. And like I said, I personally think on the side, when it concerns like the men's division, they need to bring back like a television title. They really do. I really think that they need to bring back a TV title. especially because of situations like where Brock Lesnar has been holding on to the title for more than 3 months. That pisses me off. Like, I'm at a point where it's like anybody but Brock have that fucking title. That's, I think, the reason why Roman Reigns is actually starting to get fucking pops now. Like, it's kind of it's either a mixed crowd or a pop. And he's actually been getting a lot more backing, and I think it's because of what happened at the pay-per-view, and then where the last pay-per-view where he fought Brock Lesnar, and he technically was supposed to win, but he never fucking did. And that was due to the referee. So they're like really trying to do everything in their power to just make it so that way he's, so Joe Anoa'i is actually getting fucking pops, which is fine. I mean, I've been a big supporter of Roman Reigns ever since he fucking came out. Like when we saw him run roughshod on the Shield, like me and Katie's one of our first dates ended up actually being a Monday Night Raw live event. It was the one where, like, obviously it was in Grand Rapids, but it was this one where fucking Mark Henry came out and he was wearing a salmon-colored jacket and he was pretending to fucking retire. And then he ended up fucking going Pearl Harbor on John Cena, and he did the World's Strongest Slam on John Cena and started yelling, "I got plenty left in the tank." That was at Grand Rapids, and that was the show that I fucking went to with my girlfriend. As a matter of fact, if you watch that scene, there's a guy that yells, "Sexual chocolate," and then the sexual chocolate chant starts going. That was me. I started that sexual chocolate chant. It's like, how the fuck can you not have that chant with Mark Henry in the fucking ring and somebody doesn't chant sexual chocolate? Yeah, that was my fault. Right. See, like, that was something that I never, like, dude, Virus, I don't understand at all why people have such a disdain for that motherfucker. I don't understand why people have such disdain for Roman Reigns. Can somebody just explain it to me? Is it just because everybody thinks that he is being crammed down everybody's throat like John Cena? Like, that's the only thing that I could come up with is that is the only possibility as to why people have such clear disdain for Roman Reigns is because he is the selected golden boy for WWE. Like, I don't know. Can somebody just clarify this on me? Because I hear people just say, "Oh, I don't like Roman Reigns." Why? Nobody has an answer for me. See, it just flat out confuses the shit out of me. Exactly. Sexual chocolate. Well, yeah. Yeah, they're grooming him. What the fuck? Like, okay, let me ask you this. During the Attitude Era, who was your favorite superstar? I'm waiting on this. I'm looking forward to seeing this answer. Next, he'll be coming out in a different colored tank top. Okay. So? Okay. See, yeah, Mick... Exactly, and let me ask you this. In 1995, King of the Ring, Stone Cold Steve Austin ended up having a win, and he ended up defeating Jake the Snake Roberts and became King of the Ring in 95. And he ended up saying, you sit there and you thump your Bible and it didn't get you anywhere. Talk about your Psalms. Talk about John 3:16. Austin 3:16 says, I just whipped your ass. And then ever since then, they have been grooming Stone Cold Steve Austin because he represented the change in the WWF. And he ended up becoming, what, 5-time WWF heavyweight champion? Because they had groomed him from that point. And that was actually because of the curtain call incident with the Click. So Triple H ended up getting punished because Triple H was originally supposed to win that King of the Ring. And he ended up getting jobbed for forever because of that shit. Now, Stone Cold Steve Austin ended up being groomed into becoming the top guy. They did the same thing with Hulk Hogan. They did the same thing with Bob Backlund. They did the same thing with the Iron Sheik. And they ended up doing the same thing to John Cena. And now they're doing that to Roman Reigns. But because of a lot of people who, I mean, obviously it's obvious nowadays that shit is not real anymore. Everybody knows it's fake. Everybody now looks at it as a form of entertainment. It's not wrestling anymore. Now it's sports entertainment. Don't put me in that position, Dark Knight. But yeah, it was because of the fan response to Austin. In a way, yeah, that is true. But like people started at the same time resonating towards The Rock and resonated towards Mick Foley. And then and on top of that, The Rock ended up having the same issue because he was the son of Rocky Johnson, and he's part of the Anoa'i family. And so, he tried to emulate that by being Rocky Maivia. Obviously, he took Rocky Johnson, and he took Peter Maivia, and he ended up meshing the two, and ended up trying to have a fucking babyface gimmick where he was like, I'm proud to be a part of the fucking Samoan Anoa'i family. And people didn't like it. Now, Roman Reigns is practically doing the same thing, and same thing with the Usos, but the Usos ended up changing up their shit, and fucking, right from the beginning, Roman Reigns, the only thing that they have done is, they ended up first putting him up as a heel, as a heel with the Shield, and people liked it like that, but then when he started fucking doing different things, and they were grooming him to be the top guy, that was one of the things that ended up doing that shit. But one thing I can tell you when it concerns Roman Reigns is that, like him or hate him, you can't deny that the dude has skill. The dude is Anoa'i, and the Anoa'i family has fucking mad skill. Take a look at all of the other fucking people in the Anoa'i family that has actually had some pretty good success, like Yokozuna. Yokozuna had some very good success. Rikishi had some very good success. The Wild Samoans ended up having some good success. The Head Shrinkers and shit like that, Joe Anoa'i is just another one of those guys, and he's very proud to be part of that family. But everybody fucking boos him because they know that he's I think that's what the case is. Everybody boos Roman Reigns because they think he's the golden boy. But they can't deny the fact that the motherfucker got skills. It was like, what? You like Dean Ambrose because he's fucking, anti-authority. You like Seth Rollins because he's a fucking spot monkey, basically. What it was is Roman clearly wasn't ready to be top guy with his terrible mic skills and stiff ring work, and we all hated that he was being pushed so early. And I think that, that might attribute to it as well, but he's been on the main roster for the last 5 years. See, John Cena ended up fucking being pushed, and I felt that he was being pushed too early, and they gave him some Superman fucking gimmick when the reality is I would rather see him as the Doctor of Thugonomics. And his shtick got fucking tired very early. And I think that might be a formula that they had noticed for a while, is that, John Cena's matches always tended to be the same. Every single one of John Cena's matches just tended to be the same match every fucking time. You know, it's like a punching, back and forth punching for like the first 5 minutes, and then he gets his ass whipped for 5 minutes, and then after that he overcomes the odds, and then the 5 moves of doom. And that was something that a lot of people got bored with, just seeing the same formula over and over again. I don't care how many times John Cena's been champion. As far as I'm concerned, I don't even want him to match Ric Flair with how many titles he's held. And he's like, I think he is matched with Ric Flair, but Ric Flair did that for a long string of time, like for 30 years of his career. It took him to get past 16 times. Like, the only reason why John Cena has won the title so many fucking times is because he is able to resonate with the people. But he always does it on a positive note. Like, the dude forgot what it's like to be a fucking heel. And I want to see that happen. I just don't understand how he loses every title shot but ends up the #1 contender again almost by default. It's strange. That's actually a simple answer. Prior to Batista quitting for the second time, Batista ended up telling him the cheat code to unlimited #1 contendership. All you have to say is, congratulations, I want my rematch. See, and this is why the comparison Reigns gets to Cena. His matches are exactly the same now, just he doesn't win. Well, what they're trying to do, I think, in the realm of storyline with him is that what they're trying to do is they're trying to create a sympathy card for Roman Reigns. Let's see, the one when they go to Kenosha to watch wrestling, Matt Hardy is also on it. When The Rock was wrestling on that 70s show, his name was Rocky Johnson. Just a little did you know. Yeah, I knew about that, Ski Dog. I remembered that. He ended up saying, yeah, I remember that, because he's just like, I have a son, and one day he's going to grow up to be the most electrifying man in sports entertainment, which was, just kind of an inside rib for anybody who's who knows their wrestling fan, any wrestling fan who watched that shit. That's what one thing he needs to do, become a heel before he retires. John Cena, yeah. I remember seeing in an interview, John Cena ended up saying that if there is somebody that is able to step up to the plate and exceed him in popularity or something to that effect, then he would actually then turn heel. But until then, don't fix what ain't broke. But, to be totally honest, I'm getting tired and bored with his fucking cheeky shit. Like, everybody wants him to be heel except him. And he's so fucking stubborn about that shit. Like, shit, you see how, I don't know, I ended up watching the last episode of, one of the most recent episodes of Total Bellas last night after I got done watching wrestling, because I got to catch up on that shit too. And he ended up actually saying that, for the longest time he said that he didn't want to have kids and he didn't want to get married and all that other stuff. I like Dean Ambrose too. But he ended up saying, they're trying to make him the ultimate underdog and it feels super forced. Right. But, they did something similar to Daniel Bryan when, they were trying to make him be like, oh, he's just a B+ player. And he ended up winning both fucking titles. You know what? Since we're just on the subject about this, I'm just going to say fuck it. And I'm going to eat my cookie while we're talking about this. See, Ambrose will bring the Shield back together again. See, it's stupid fucking wishy-washy shit, I think. That people will be like, oh, I hate Roman Reigns. Oh, the Shield's back together. I like Roman Reigns. No, if you've been watching wrestling as long as I have, it's basically got to a point where it's like, okay, as I talked about in a prior live stream, I remember watching one of the episodes of Nitro shortly after the NWO was formed, and in the crowd, and I think it was at the Palace, the Palace in Ann Arbor, and in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And in one of the front rows, you see Roddy Hogan dressed up like fucking Hollywood Hulk Hogan with the black beard and the yellow mustache and the fucking NWO clothing and shit like that. Like, he dressed up like Hulk Hogan. And that shows dedication as a fan to somebody because of shit like that. When the Four Horsemen were formed, even the Four Horsemen as fucking heels ended up having fans where they would dress to the nines with aviator sunglasses and fucking suits from Max's at Kansas City and shit like that. Like, those were diehard fans. Hulk Hogan and Roddy Hogan being a diehard fan. Heel or face, I do have support for specific wrestlers. Like, I was still a big fan of Al Snow, even when he was a heel and he dropped the whole listening to head gimmick. I was still a fan. I'm a fan of The Rock, whether he's a heel or a face. I'm a fan of Stone Cold, whether he's a heel or a face. I'm a fan of Hulk Hogan, whether he's a heel or a face. You know, and I pick, you know, like, I see something that I like in the wrestler. I don't care if they're a good guy or a bad guy. You know, and I've actually been trying to teach my kids this shit too. Because Elizabeth didn't like Charlotte Flair until she became a babyface. Before that, she's been a fan of Bayley and Sasha Banks. But she didn't like Charlotte Flair because Charlotte Flair was mean to Bayley and Sasha Banks. But she likes Charlotte Flair now because she's a good guy. And it's like, no, you pay attention to the skill of the wrestler and how well that they're able to be a bad guy or a good guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the way that I look at it. And Roman Reigns, I am a fan of Roman Reigns because I think he has good in-ring work. He has polished up his mic skills a little bit, and I really like how he's doing it. I really like how he's doing his mic skills. But to be totally honest, you don't really need to have good mic skills in order to be a fantastic wrestler. Take a look at, like, Brock Lesnar is a good wrestler. Don't give me fucking sanctity of that title. And that's why I don't support Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar. Okay. And we're back. I think I might have to... Wow, that sucks. That fucking sucked that shut down like that. I'm going to have to... Great, I'm going to have to drop the output on this. But yeah, like I was saying, you know, it's not to a point where I don't give a fuck how talented Brock Lesnar is. Brock Lesnar has basically tainted the sanctity of that Universal title, or any title, as a matter of fact, just because he's been holding on to it for so long. I remember seeing a tweet that Paul Heyman put out where he's like, I was able to be the advocate for number 434, and now I'm also the advocate for number 435. And I'm like, yeah, but how many times has he fucking defended it? He doesn't defend it monthly. And I'm a stickler for, you know, tradition in that specific aspect. Where it's like, okay, yeah, he's held that title, but how many times has he fucking defended it? You know, and Miz, the same way. Like, Miz earned my respect a long time ago. You know, ever since he fucking did a change up in his attitude and his gimmick, and he was able to fucking do that shit. Me and you are going to have to do a wrestling talk live stream. That's what I'm doing right now. I mean, I have a lot of wrestling knowledge, and I have a capability of watching the history of the shit. But but the thing about it is, like, Brock Lesnar has been like 3 or 4 months since his last title defense. Well longer than a month, obviously. Right, and that's pathetic. And I was like, look, you know, it's now to a point where it's like, I don't care how talented Brock Lesnar is in the ring. Fuck him. You know, as far as I'm concerned, he held that title for too fucking long, and now it kind of just taints the sanctity of the title because he's not defending it. Why the fuck would you have it on a guy, and then what? You end up getting mid-carders defending a mid-card belt on the main event of a pay-per-view. That should be for the top guy. You know, the main event should be for the top guys, not for the not for the Intercontinental title. As much respect I have for both Seth Rollins and for Dolph Ziggler, that belt should not have been defended on the main event. And as far as I'm concerned, Brock Lesnar can fuck off. I don't care how talented he is. But one thing I will say when it concerns Roman Reigns, like I said, you know, he could be top dog and not have to fucking talk. Take a look at Goldberg. Hell, take a look at Brock Lesnar as of right now. Brock Lesnar is a top guy, but he has Paul Heyman as a mouthpiece. And the way that I look at it, you can have a manager and still be the top guy. Undertaker did, even though he did speak for himself, but a vast majority of it was Paul Bearer that would do the speaking for him. You know, and a lot of other top guys, you know, tag team championships, and shit like that. You know, like that type of shit was applicable because of, you know, people like Captain Lou and Mr. Fuji. You know, like these people that they managed went somewhere because they had a manager, like Bobby the Brain Heenan. Bobby the Brain Heenan ended up fucking pushing people up to the top as well. The Grand Wizard, some other people. But nevertheless, you don't need to have a mouthpiece. You don't need to have mic skills. You can have a mouthpiece that can speak on your behalf. That's one of the things that I can say that I like about Brock Lesnar is Paul Heyman. And I had seen that somebody ended up, yeah, it was Dark Knight Kid that said that he liked Paige. I like Paige too. Especially on that one video that never fucking aired, porn. I agree to that, Super Bears. Like, I think SmackDown just hired this new Mexican wrestler, and all he has is his wife as a valet or something. And I was like, okay, well, that's kind of stupid. I think there needs to be more people to be managers. What? You have no respect for The Miz? Oh, God, please explain. And don't... Okay, if you can explain this to me with a legitimate argument and not have to bring in the real world, then you have my attention. Yeah, Super Bears, that's what I was talking about, almost. I still don't understand Authors of Pain getting rid of Paul Ellering. He was a perfect manager. I also miss manager roles, right? Yeah, I remember when they got called up. I remember when the Authors of Pain got called up, and I'm like, dude, I actually had to point that out to my girlfriend. I was like, dude, Katie, dude, it's Paul Ellering. Holy shit. And she's like, who's that? So I had to fucking explain it to her. He is a dickhead. That's my argument. I'm sure that there's a lot of people that you have said, oh yeah, I respect them, and they have been a dickhead. Or at some point, you know. Like, okay, Violent J's a dick. We all know that. Violent J can be a dick. But yeah, I totally missed the fuck out of managers. I think I heard something about Ellering not wanting to travel. Right? Honestly, I was, yeah, I could see where you're coming from on that. Because I was like, okay, if Ellering is not managing the Authors of Pain, then he should be managing like a counter figure or something like that. Like Ascension. But, you know, since it never happened, yeah, I would say that would have to be the closing argument when it concerns Paul Ellering. So maybe I don't know, maybe he went back to do that shit. Yeah, dude, Paul Ellering is the shit, though. Like, I'm sure that dude can fucking chameleon himself into something else. No, you know what I want to know is, like, how long do you think WWE is going to stand for No Way Jose's fucking conga line gimmick? Because for real, didn't we already learn something with Adam Rose and the Exotic Express, the Rosebuds, and once he got fired, there was like 4 or 5 people out of the Rosebuds that ended up rising to the top. Like Braun Strowman as a prime example. That would be a cool idea. That would be a dope story. I agree to that one. Okay, Virus. I'm going to make this short and sweet for that. Right, that's what I say, and I agree with, you know, that's what I was saying, Super Bears. Like, I basically ended up saying that this guy, all he needs to do is figure out a way on how to get fired, and 5 people from that fucking conga line are going to be successful in the main roster. No Way Jose's gimmick is going to go nowhere. It's the same thing as Adam Rose and the fucking Rosebuds and the Exotic Express and all of that stupid, retarded, gay shit. And all Miz does is bitch and complain. Basically what I said, Goat Boy. Adam Rose 2.0 all the way. Now, Chaos Clown, Virus. I'm going to fucking tell you this right now. What you're explaining to me is a simple hashtag, and I'm about to type that. Like, I can explain, I can counterbalance that with a simple hashtag. And I'm typing it right now. Here you go. Hashtag, it's still real to me, damn it. Now, the reason why I say that is because what you're explaining for your disdain for The Miz is part of his gimmick. It's not just, I'm the 9-time IC title champion, I'm an A-list movie star, blah, blah, blah. See, he's doing what a lot of other people have done in the past. People like Chris Jericho, where they take a certain aspect, and this is something that this is actually something that Mike Mizanin has done since the construct of his career. What he's doing is he's taking an element about himself that he likes or he dislikes and cranks it up to 11. In this case, he's cranking up to 11, which is the same thing that Chris Jericho does. He cranked up to 11 the fact that he's an A-list superstar. And he's utilizing that as his heel gimmick. That's what he's doing. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's all who he is, like in and out of the ring. And on top of that, it does not take away from his talent as a superstar, as an athlete. But if you don't like the way that the gimmick is run, then that's fine. But at least show credit where credit is due when it concerns the talent that he gives. Like, I understand that to an extent. Where I'll take a look, there's a guy I know who absolutely, beyond the shadow of a doubt, absolutely hates Randy Orton. He's never been able to explain to me why. But the funny thing is, like, if he just finishes a cigarette and then the show comes back from commercial and he hears voices in his head and then Randy Orton comes out and forgets his next line, he immediately lights up a fucking smoke. Like, even though he just finished one prior to commercial break. Right. Okay, he ain't A-list shit. Well, see, here's the thing, though. Like, he ended up becoming in a couple of straight to DVD movies, and the point of his gimmick is that he has that inflated ego. Like, that's the whole point. Right. You know, he's always had ego. He's always been egotistical. And that's the whole point of his gimmick, is that he is an egotistic maniac. He even utilizes the fact that he started off as a reality show guy as his gimmick. Like, all the gimmicks that he has done has something to do with the attributes of himself. And then he just cranks the dial up to 11. That's what makes his gimmicks so fun to watch. And, I mean, you may think it's garbage, but it doesn't take away from the fact that he has the bravado that the WWE needs. And then having some of the other accolades on there, like becoming the 9-time Intercontinental title champion, that he's put prestige back on the fucking title. And then on top of that, also holding the, main eventing WrestleMania, defending the title against, the WWE title against John Cena and winning clean. Like, he has those accolades, and he's going to use those because of his egotistical fucking A-list gimmick, so to speak. Even though he's been on straight-to-DVD movies. Like, that's the whole point to his gimmick. And that's what actually makes him good, because it does piss you off, even though you know that the whole thing is fake, and he's not even really real like that. Which, by the way, tonight, later on, yeah, exactly, he has a very hot wife. She was even hot when she was pregnant. Like, But then again, you know, pregnant chicks are, you know, like if you're hot when you're not pregnant, you're still going to be hot when you are pregnant. And yeah. Right, yeah. Maurice can still grab it. And I'm actually looking forward to watching Ms. and Mrs. Um, After Katie gets out of work tonight, I don't know. She gets out of work in like 2.5 hours or something like that. But after that, I think we're going to grab the kid, come home, watch SmackDown, eat dinner, and then we're also going to watch Ms. and Mrs. And that's actually going to be, I'm actually looking forward to that, even though it's a reality show. But, you know, like, and in most cases, like, I'm usually very tired of reality shows, but at least I'm not watching the fucking challenge again. Like, I'm getting sick of watching MTV reality shows. The only time I'm actually going to want to watch an MTV reality show is if The Miz is fucking hosting it. And that's basically it. But you know, I really got to say that a lot of the people that are in the roster right now, I have nothing but respect for those guys. And I got to say that, you know, I really like to see that the fucking the women in the fucking shows have been holding it down, and I'm really excited to see what the Evolution pay-per-view is going to be like. I'm really looking forward to that shit. Okay, so I need to double check on something. So if let's see, if there's nothing else, I guess what we could probably do is we could probably just talk bullshit for the next half hour or something like that. And I might as well go ahead and just put it out there for anybody that is actually watching. Hey, has anybody actually shared this to their respective Facebook or Discord or anything like that? No, I think I already did. I know I saved it to Discord. I sent it to a variety of things from Discord. But yeah, I'm actually trying to see if I can get more people to fucking start adding, you know, trying to add on and sub to this channel and everything. Oh wait, I've missed some stuff. Let's see. Bella's got boring, but I still like Divas, and I'm looking forward to Ms. and Mrs. too. So yeah, like I think it's cool seeing that they, you know, I mean, basically Ms. and Mrs. is a fucking spin-off show. But nevertheless, you know, I thought it was really fucking fresh knowing that that was going to be the case. That they were going to have their own fucking reality show. Shit, I forgot. Oh shit. I'm trying to add the link to Juggernaut because I forgot to. And I'm just gonna see if it's a possibility that I can get some more viewers up on here. You never know. Let's see, where am I? Okay. So yeah, bear with. I'm gonna fucking copy the link, and I'm gonna share this to the Juggernaut Facebook group. And for some reason, it's not letting me fucking post it. Oh, there it goes. Okay. So, with that being said, now I've got, you know, I figure, okay, now let's just go ahead and get into some bullshit and see if there's anything that I've missed with some of the other shit. Static Beats fucking came up on here. I totally missed that. Let's see. Oh, I missed that Hell Spit ended up saying Big Baby Records, they still need a Mad Paperboy Records. Well, they do. It's just not called Psychopathic. So let's see. We ended up talking about the stop leak and the fact that I need tags. John Cena. I did see that Dark Knight Kid ended up asking if I play Fortnite, and I'm gonna tell you flat out, no, I do not. I don't like the idea. I don't like the idea of playing games that are just overinflated, and I do feel that Fortnite is one of those games that's overinflated. So, you know, when it concerns that shit, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm not. I mean, you know, not to mention, I really prefer just to play the retro shit. Let's see. And somebody ended up telling me they were going to send me a donation, but doing stuff via Streamlabs is a little bit harder than just doing the super chat version. And I was just responding to that. Let's see. Did anyone hear anything about Ouija's water damage? What happened to that? I think water damage is going to be coming up. And I eat a cookie. That's funny as fuck. Yeah. Well, you know, I had a cookie. So, you know, I got myself a cookie. And I ate it while we were talking about wrestling. Yeah, I'm curious about that too. It was supposed to drop Friday and didn't. Like, oh, yeah, the water damage. I don't know, man. Like, I'm not 100% when it concerns that. He did drop that Death Plus J mixtape on SoundCloud yesterday, but it was trash compared to the others. Now, I'm going to be totally honest when it concerns certain aspects of Ouija. Like, you know, listening to fucking Gutter Water, I thought that album was awesome. But then they started making music videos for some of the songs that were on there. And while I get the fact that the music video for Choker was all done by Ouija Mac himself, like he did all of the fucking work for that shit, it looked rushed. And it didn't look like there was really any effort put into it. And that, I mean, that's just my honest opinion. It just felt like there was something missing. Like he created a render of himself, and just walking through the woods, and then just a bunch of different pop-ups from Instagram videos, and it was just kind of like, like it has nothing to do with the fucking song. There's no story behind it. There's nothing. And then the most recent video that he ended up doing, shit, what was the video for? I can't remember. Like, I don't know. I'm going to have to look this up. I don't know, unless somebody can just tell me immediately, put the cookie down and get to the chopper. Let's see. I'm going to have to look this up. Oh, yeah, the music video for Shreddy Krueger. Like, that one actually was interesting, but I don't think that Shreddy Krueger should have had that as a music video for it, to be personally honest. And the main reason for that is because it really doesn't have any detailing attributes to the song itself. So it was like, why would you do that? Why would you make that be the fucking music video for Shreddy Krueger? If you know, like when you're making music that's talking about the aspects of a story or something, then you should make it so the music video follows that story in a sense where, like, take a look at Bowling Balls as an example. Like, I think that Bowling Balls was a pretty decent music video, and they could have done something without the element of making it into like a 13-minute movie. Like, they could have taken some of the aspects of what they did in the music video, like in the movie, and made it so that was the music video, rather than them just being in a room full of heads the entire time during the audio dialogue. You know what I mean? Like, there could have been some other things that they could have added to that, as far as I'm concerned. Wow, that fucking disappeared. Let's see. Okay, so Go Boy ended up saying, I liked the Choker video, I just wish it had been on a Trash Fire song instead, because the song is story driven and deserves a story driven video. That's why I didn't like it. Because everything about it, like, granted that Ouija ended up doing it himself, it looked very rushed, and it was poorly edited. Like, it was just him walking walking through some dead woods and fucking different things popping up, like old school fucking Windows 3.1 shit. That was inventive, but didn't belong in the fucking music video. And the same thing with all of the spots from Instagram videos, also did not belong in that shit. Now, I thought Shreddy Krueger was alright. I wouldn't say that I hated it. I thought it was okay. But once again, the music video I didn't really care too much for. So it was kind of like, well, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I'm saying? What in the fuck are you doing? Alright. Doesn't look like anything's really changed. Okay. Damn, a couple people ended up falling off. And this shit... Wow. Something happened in my Streamlabs. Like, the fucking count for it is off. For some fucking reason. Yep. Dinner calls. Take it easy, y'alls. Alright, brother. Yeah, you have a good one, man. Alright. So, here's the sitch. This is going to be my last cigarette. This is my last cigarette, and after I'm done with this, I'm probably going to fucking step out. And, yeah, that'll be the end of that. Alright. Okay. So, yep, that's taken care of. I don't know what the fuck happened to, like, for some reason, this King of the Streamlabs ended up fucking falling out. Is it because it's not in the same thing? Alright, you're out too, talking to my fiance Venus. Catch you around, homie. Alright, brother. Yeah, not a problem. Alright, session restarted. Much motherfucking clown love to you too as well. Alright, so let's see. I don't know why, but like something ended up just fucking... Donators. Something ended up happening to this. I don't know what the hell. Okay, let's see. Yeah, people are starting to slowly drop off. Okay, so... I don't know, something ended up happening to this, and I don't know what. Session top. I don't know. I don't know. And it doesn't really look like there's anybody that's talking, so I guess what I'll do is I will actually end up closing this motherfucker out. Because, yeah, it's, as far as I'm seeing, yeah, this is practically a dead stream as of right now. Things are starting to, things are slowing down. There's nothing much to talk about. And my shit, it looks like it's fucking going out of control. But nevertheless, I might as well close this out. So, thank you for watching, to everybody who's watched. Shout out going out to, say, someone powerbombed your shit. Pretty much. I don't know, but, you know, shout out to all of those who are watching. Shout out to those who are still watching. Shout outs going out to everybody in the chat. And super mega shout out goes out to Spooky Tuesday and Super Bears 81 for their donations, totaling the amount of $15. And as of right now, Super Bears, you know, for today, Super Bears is the king of Streamlabs for the day. And as of, I'm going to actually, for those of you who are still watching and anybody else who's watching this at the end in post, at the end of the month, I'm going to be showing who has been king of Streamlabs for the month of July. Just so that way everybody can be like, you may have donated a shit ton at the end of the month, you know, like today, but I got it for the whole month, motherfucker. So that ought to be enjoyable. So keep tuning in and all that other shit. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, so that way you're part of the notification squad, because you never know when I'm going to fucking show up and do some shit. And as I said at the very beginning of the show, I'm gonna be working on getting my car taken care of, and once that's done, I'm gonna have a lot less free time to be able to do this shit, because I'm gonna be working and doing